Hello everyone, welcome to another soft skill training here at Dive Africa. My name is Timidayo Caroline Fatoba and I'll be your facilitator for this course, Critical Thinking and Problem Solving. We'll be looking at the following module outlines: Introduction to Critical Thinking and Problem Solving, Importance of Critical Thinking and Problem Solving, Characteristics of a Critical Thinker, Asking the right questions, breaking down complex problem, structured versus unstructured problem solving, root cause analysis, system thinking approach, brainstorming for solution, the Scrample framework for creativity, scenario thinking and risk evaluation. We'll be looking at solution evaluation, making ethical decision, the biasing your thinking, lastly reflective thinking and retrospective. Learning objective: by the end of this module, learners should be able to define and distinguish between critical thinking and problem solving, apply structured approaches to break down and analyze complex problem, utilize creative brainstorming and scenario planning techniques, identify the root cause of recurring issues, evaluate solution based on feasibility, usability and impact, reflect on past decision to improve future reasoning, apply ethical thinking and remove bias in decision making. So by the end of this course, you as a learner, you are expected to have at least know 80% and be able to practice and make use of all this in your career, in your work as a tech person. So do you know that one of the top skills employers are looking for in today's world is not just technical know-how, but the ability to think and solve problem effectively, the ability to think critically and solve problem effectively. According to the World Economic Forum, critical thinking has been consistently listed as a top skill of the future. It is what makes professionals stand out. Yeah, critical thinking will make you stand out because no matter how advanced technology becomes, organizations still need people who can analyze situations, find solution and make sound decision. Every single day we all solve problem. Yes, every single day you and I, we all solve problem, whether it is deciding what routes to take to avoid traffic, or figuring out how to manage our time, or helping a friend through a challenge. We all solve problem one way or the other. In the workplace, however, problem solving requires deeper thinking, objectivity and creativity. Critical thinking is the skill that helps you pause, evaluate information carefully and then act wisely. You can't just act rashly when you are trying to make decision. So critical thinking help you to act wisely. Without it, we risk making assumption, rushing into wrong decision and wasting time and resources. That is why we are learning this skill today, to become intentional thinkers, confident problem solvers. So now let us look at critical thinking. What is critical thinking? It is the ability to analyze information, assess different perspectives and make reasoned informed judgments. reasoned informed judgment. So critical thinking is a discipline, self-directed process of evaluating ideas, information and arguments using logic and evidence. It involves questioning assumption, recognizing bias, whether it is yours or others, weighing fact before drawing conclusion, withholding judgment until all relevant data is considered. So when we talk about critical thinking, it is the ability to think clearly, deeply and carefully. Yeah, ability to think clearly, deeply and carefully about a situation before making decision. It's about not just accepting information at face value, but asking question, looking for facts, and considering different perspective before acting. So when it comes to when it comes to critical thinking, you don't just act immediately because they told you to act. You make sure that you ask question, you look for facts, you consider different perspective before acting. Many people hear critical and think it means being negative or over analyzing things. No, that's not true. Being a critical thinker means being wise and thoughtful. So if you are a critical thinker, maybe if you hear people say, oh, you are a critical thinker, that means you are wise and thoughtful. And it's also a skill that you can develop. If it's something that you don't have yet, it is something that you can develop, to be wise and to be thoughtful. You take your time to step back. Yeah, if you want to become a critical thinker, take your time to step back, observe, and make sure your choices are based on reason rather than emotion or assumption. So there are some individuals that they act based on emotion, they act based on assumption, their emotion. So don't act based on your emotion and assumption. It is better that you observe before you take step. So in real life we all face situation that requires decision. Should I take this job offer? Before you take that job offer, you need to think about it. Are you okay with the pay? Is it something that is not far from where you stay? Is it something that you're able to cope with? Before you make any decision, if it maybe it's an investment, is this investment safe? How do I solve a conflict with my colleague? That can be like a situation that requires a decision. So critical thinking gives you to pause before reacting. It teaches you to ask, what exactly is the problem here? What facts do I have? What evidence is missing? Am I allowing my emotion to cloud my judgment? So all these are very important when you are trying to make a critical decision. When you are trying to take some step, you need to ask yourself some questions so that you are going to make a good judgment. So critical thinking also teaches us to question assumption. Many times people make decisions based on what they think they know. For example, assuming a customer isn't interested in your product because they didn't respond to your mail would be wrong. They may have been busy, or they might have missed your mail. Maybe the mail actually dropped in their spam box. So you need to do a follow up. Critical thinking encourages us to gather more data before jumping into conclusion. So you as a tech person, maybe you're a developer, a data analyst, you must make sure that you gather more facts, gather more data before jumping into conclusion. So critical thinking skill is necessary. It is important in tech, and it is important in business, because problems are rarely straightforward. There are some problems that they are not straightforward. One small mistake can actually make the project not be successful. Any small mistake can actually leave some kind of loopholes, and will have to be worked upon. So a person with strong critical thinking skills can break down large problems into smaller parts. They will identify the causes and choose the best solution logically. So when it comes to critical thinking, you need to be able to you must be able to you must be able to identify the problem and profile solution to that problem. So in summary, critical thinking is about being the smartest person. Sorry, it is not about being the smartest person in the room. Yeah, because if you think you are smart, you might actually meet someone that is smarter than you. So it's not about being smart, right? It's about being careful. There are some smart people, they are not always careful. They are always doing things in rush, and before you knew it, they are going to miss the tiniest um you know maybe what they need to work on. Just a very little thing that they need to work on, they missed it because they think, oh, I am smart, I have first track. It's all they should give somebody else to proofread what they've done. They just like, oh, it's fine, let me just continue. So it is not, critical thinking is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being careful, objective, and solution oriented. It's about taking responsibility for your decision because you have thought them through. You have taught them through. And the good news, it is a skill you can practice and improve. You can improve on it every single day. Just like I gave an example, a scenario, we all, take decision every day. We think about it before making that decision. So it is something that you can actually improve on a daily basis. So now let us look at problem solving. So when we talk about problem solving, is the practical application of critical thinking. Problem solving help you identify the issues, explore possible solution, evaluating options, and implementing what improvements. So problem solving is very important. It is not just enough for you to be a critical thinker, but you should also be able to solve the problem. Just like I mentioned, problem solving is a practical part of critical thinking. Once you have analyzed a situation, you now have to fix it. How do I fix the situation? There's a problem. What will be the solution? So problem solving is a step-by-step process of identifying the issues. It's a step-by-step process. So brainstorming possible solution. You can brainstorm with your team members. How do we resolve this issue? How do we make sure that everything runs smoothly or goes smoothly? You have to choose the best when you are making use of problem solving skill. Make sure you are going for the best that fits into what you are working on, the project you are working on. So choosing the best one and implementing it is something that is going to be beneficiary to both you and your team members. So let us think this way. When it comes to critical thinking, it's like diagonizing something. Critical thinking is like diagonizing something, understanding the sequence. Then problem solving is the treatment. It's like the treatment. Okay, this is the cure, finding the cure. So this is two things: critical thinking on your left, diagonizing what is happening to this person, what is happening to this project, understanding the sickness. While problem solving on your right is like the treatment. What's the cure? There's a problem. What's the cure? Which is very, very important that you need to be able to answer and know. Asking the right question. Effective problem solvers don't start with answer. They start with questions. You want to be an effective problem solver, you must be able to start with questions, no answer. High quality question clarify the real issues and expand the scope of what you're thinking. So you need to ask the right kind of question when you are when you are solving problem. You need to ask the right question if you want to be an effective problem solver. So you ask question: what's the real problem here? Who is involved? How are they affected? What fact do I know for sure? What evidence do I need to gather? You need to ask question. Break it down, complex question. Ask them, okay, how should we go about this? So tools like Socratic questioning and user interviews rely on the quality of your question. Good question reveal insights. Poor question lead to wasted effort. So when we talk about Socratic questioning, it is a method of asking deep, open-ended questions to help people think more critically, examine their assumption, and find logical answers. So when we're talking about open-ended questions, you are asking questions that they won't be able to answer yes or no. They'll be able to explain more deeper about what they are going through, so that you'll be able to help them find solution as an effective problem solver. So when we're talking about Socratic questioning, like the word Socratic is from Socrates, the philosopher, right? So it's named after Socrates, the Greek philosopher, who used questions to guide the student to discover truth about themselves rather than giving answer. So when we are using Socratic questioning, the goal is not just to get quick answer. The goal is to encourage reflection, reasoning and better what decision making that is going to be beneficiary for everyone. Everybody will be able to benefit from it. So that's the goal of what we are trying to achieve. Let's proceed. Breaking down complex problem. Complex problem can feel overwhelming. They may involve multiple users, technologies, business rules, or dependencies. The key is decomposition, breaking the big into manageable parts. Just like some individuals, they will tell you that I don't know how to manage procrastination. Just start. Just start. That's just it. Before you start talking about, oh, I'm tired today, I don't think I can do it. Just make sure you know what you want to do and start with the least work, the least duty. Before you know, you see yourself what working on it day in, day out. Day in, day out is very important. So when it comes to breaking down complex problem, you need to be able to understand the approach, clarify the outcome, identify key variables, who are the people involved, separate symptoms from causes, organize your findings virtually. In tech, complexity often hides the real issue. So if you are unable to break down complexity issues, you'll be able to know how to go about it or what to do. So breaking problems down, reveal which part to solve first, test quickly or discard entirely. So all this is actually going to help you when you know how to break down complex problems into smaller bits so that you can achieve things that will be that everybody will be able to benefit from. Very important. Okay, let's look at structured versus unstructured problem solving. So when we talk about structured problem solving, this follows clear steps and methods. I'll deal for predictable or technical challenges. We have examples: root cause analysis. Unstructured problem solving is messier, where solutions are unclear and the problem may evolve. It requires flexibility, creativity, and emotional intelligence. So if you have not taken the emotional intelligence course, kindly make sure that you take the emotional intelligence course. So examples here: choosing a product roadmap direction, designing a new future with no precedent. Tech teams need both structured tools for diagnosis and consistency, unstructured method for innovation and adaptability. So there are some problems that they will come structured and some will come unstructured. So it is your duty as an effective problem solver to know how to go about it so that you'll be able to achieve the project you are actually working on. You should know how to go about it. So when working on problem, you need to break it down. Okay, for instance, okay, let's use this as an example. Imagine your car won't start. Then break the issue down. Is it the battery? Is it the battery that is not making the car to start, or is it the fuel, or is it ignition, or is it engine that is not making the car to start? That is what an example of an effective problem solver. You need to break down the issue to know what the problem is. Test one part test one part at a time. Test one part at a time. Focus on solving the simplest part first. You need to focus on solving the simplest part first so that you'll be able to you'll be able to go smoothly. Because if you start from the complex one, you'll be able to you won't be able to be effective. You won't be able, just like I mentioned, effective problem solver. You need to start from the smaller one, the simplest one, before you now move to the complex one. So in business or tech, breaking down problems into smaller parts helps team assign roles, track progress and avoid what confusion. So if you don't want confusion, if you want clarity, then you must be able to what to break down problem into small parts, because whether you like it or not, there will be problem. So it is inevitable. You just have to be ready to be able to solve all of this, so that you be an overcomer, no matter the problem that come your way as a tech professional. So let's move on. Root cause analysis. So when we're talking about root cause analysis, it helps you go beyond the surface to uncover the true source of a problem. Root cause analysis help you go beyond the surface to uncover the true source of a problem. So you need to ask 5 why techniques. Ask why. You can ask why up to 5 times to get beyond the symptoms, like to be able to know what exactly is the problem, what exactly is going on here, to know how to be an effective problem solver. So making use of the fishbone diagram, this is like a visual tool that help you map out possible causes of a problem. It looks like a fish skeleton. You write the problem at the head of the fish and draw bones that represent possible causes. So maybe the causes can just be streamlined into 5 of all the things I'm about to list now. It can be people can be the cause. It can be process, it can be tools, it can be environment, it can be policy. Whichever of these might be the problem of what you're trying to resolve. So you need to understand this to be able to know how to go about what you are working on. So we have an example. For instance, if a bakery has poor sales, you might check, is it are the workers trained? Are the workers trained? Are the recipe good? Is the store location bad? Is marketing weak? This method encourage thorough analysis. I want to believe you get what I'm trying to say here, right? So I'm trying to explain or the map out courses under the categories, just like I mentioned the people, it can be the process, it can be the technology, it can be the environment, just like I mentioned. Is the store location bad? It can be the policy of the company. Is the marketing weak? Maybe the company policy, they don't used to spend money on marketing, they don't spend money on ads. You need to understand all those why, so that you can know how to go about the problem, to go about being an effective problem solver. So let's look at system thinking for tech. System thinking is a way of understanding how parts of a system interact with and affect each other over time. In tech, it can be a bug. A bug isn't just a bug. Something might have make the bug happened. It might be due to a flawed team process, unclear documentation, or poor testing. Sometimes you might have experienced it. You and I might save a document not knowing that something along the line corrupted the document, and we're trying to open the document but it's already corrupted. It's because of what? Something has actually happened. That now made this document inaccessible. So these are the key principles we need to take note of. Everything is connected. Small action can have large consequences. Focus on pattern, not just events. System thinking design better solution, not just fast fix. So all these things, you need to broaden your knowledge about this thing, so you can be not just a good critical thinker, but you can also be a good and effective problem solver. A good and effective problem solver. Let's look at brainstorming techniques. Brainstorming technique, under which we are going to be looking at the scamper framework, the scamper acronyms, mind, and also mind mapping. So when we talk about brainstorming, it's about creating a safe space for ideas to flow freely, then sorting and improving them later. Okay, let us brainstorm. Everybody, please, let's brainstorm. What do you think about this? Everybody keep talking. Everybody keep on. You have someone jot down the ideas. Then when after the discussion, after the brainstorming section, you sort out the good and the bad. You sort out the one that is better than the other, so that you can now start working on the better idea. Brainstorming is a creative thinking process where individual or team generates as many ideas as possible to solve a problem without judgment. Yeah, without judgment or filtering at first. You are not saving anything at first. Just make sure everyone is what's contributing to what you are trying to do. It is also important that ideas should be written down so that you'll be able to analyze it later on. Very, very important. Let's look at the scamper model, the scamper framework. Scamper help reframe ideas. It help reframe ideas. So I'm going to also like explain all of these points in the scamper model. So S stand for substitute. S stand for substitute. So when we are talking about scamper, it's a set of prompts you give yourself or your team to think of alternative to an idea. Use it when you want fresh ideas but you don't know where to start. So you can make use of the what of the scamper framework. It is like a simple creative tool that you can make use of. So the S stand for substitute. That is what to replace one part with something else. If you are using the S, meaning you are replacing one part with something else, you are replacing one element with something else. Example, instead of using a physical notebook to take meeting notes, you can substitute it with a note taking app like Notion. You can use Notion to take your notes. That is what substitute. I want to believe you are together and you understand what we are trying to talk about here. When we talk about the C in scamper, the C is combine to merge two ideas or features together. To merge two ideas or features together. Merge two things in one to save time or create something interesting, to create something new. An example can be you can combine a water bottle and a phone holder in a single item for gym goers. You see that? You can combine a water bottle and phone holder into a single item for gym goers. So it make it less stress for them instead of carrying two different things and they have to lose one of the item. That is what coming up with great idea. So the 8 stands for adapt. Adapt here is what borrow an idea from a different situation or industry and adjust it to yours. Example, fast food drive. We know that fast food drive, they do more on pick up and delivery. They do more of ordering. You can say fast food drive, they do more of ordering, can be adapted into pharmacy. So individuals that need drugs, they don't need to walk into the store. They can do delivery. They can order and you will get a delivery person pick it up for them, which make it what faster. The M here stand for modify or magnify. So when we're talking about modify, this is to change something size, color, timing or intensity. Modify, that is, it can be to change the size, to change the shape, to change the color or the timing. An example, you discover that there are some individuals that they travel a lot, maybe for work or for business. You can decide to do a mini maybe shampoo bottle, maybe they want to wash their hair, or a mini, just like we have a mini box if you want to travel for 2 to 3 days, for travel size, that they don't have to carry something bigger because they won't be living there forever. So that is what the modify we are talking about, or magnify. You change something size, you change the size, you change the shape, you change the color or the timing. Let's move on to the p. The p is to put another use. To put another use an existing feature for a different purpose. Use something in a new way. You can use something in a new way. For example, glass jar, originally for jam, you can use it as plant pots or candle holders. If you are very conversant with maybe journaling, you discover that even some individuals, they use glass jars for journaling, like they write like gratitude notes, then they keep it in the glass jar. That is what, making use of something that is existing. It has been in existence before, but you are now using it for a different purpose. Then we have eliminate, the e. Remove step, field or features that aren't necessary. Eliminate, remove something unnecessary. Example can be on an online store. You can remove maybe the question, are you sure, you want to proceed or you want to continue. That is what elimination. You are eliminating that step. Since you have gotten their information, then they can what, proceed, instead of asking them another kind of question. Then lastly here we have reverse or rearrange. So when we talk about reverse here, it has to do with flip the order to, or reverse assumption. You flip, maybe for instance, you visited a store layout, and it makes you walk through every section before checkout. A reverse approach could allow customer to start at the section they need first. So it's something that they can actually rearrange, that okay, with maybe we in those store, we feel that this is what people request for more, so they can rearrange it to suit their customer taste or what they want, to avoid any form of stress and all. We can use the scamper framework. We can use the scamper approach to be better, to brainstorm ideas. We can use it to brainstorm ideas, to generate more new ideas. Let's move on. Mind mapping. Mind mapping helps visualize the scope of a problem and explore connection. Mind mapping helps visualize the scope of a problem and explore connection. Used in ideation section, future planning or bug prioritization. These techniques help team think beyond the obvious. So mind mapping, it help you think beyond the obvious. Mind mapping will also help us reflection, help you to, like, mind mapping works hand in hand with critical thinking. That is why it's very important that you develop critical thinking skill. Let's look at scenario thinking and risk evaluation. Scenario thinking involves exploring multiple possible futures based on current data, uncertainty and assumption. It involves exploring multiple possible futures based on current data, uncertainty and assumption. So when we're talking about scenario thinking and risk taking, this means imagining different different what if situation. So you are imagining different what if situation. What if our main supplier goes out of business, meaning you have to what, have another plan B, or even plan C or plan D. Another what if internet service is disrupted, what if we double in size overnight. So this scenario thinking and risk planning help you to what, imagine different what if scenario or situation. This help you prepare solution before problem what happens. That is why this is another area you can also help yourself to become an effective problem solver, because you are what, preparing solution even before the problem arises. So all those things we need to what, really pay attention to, so that we can be better. Let's look at solution evaluation. Solution evaluation. Solution evaluation. After generating ideas, critical thinkers evaluate solution through multiple lenses. So if you want to evaluate solution, you need to look at it from different angles. You need to look at it through multiple lenses to enable you to see areas that you need to touch, or and how you can improve and be better. Through the feasibility, how, not how now, can we actually build it? Through visibility, can ask your team members, how do we go about this thing? Can we actually build this? Do we have the resources and time? Is something that you need to what, deliberate about. Then look at the usability. Will users understand and enjoy using it? You have to also put yourself in the shoes of your user. If you are the user, will you like what you're developing? Is it accessible and clear? Another point we have is impact. Will this solution actually solve the core problem? Will it benefit business goals? You need to look at solution evaluation from different lens: feasibility, usability, and impact. Very important. Let's move on and talk about making ethical decision in tech. Making ethical decision in tech. Ethical or ethics is very very important. So don't just portray ethics, don't portray good ethics, don't portray good moral ethics only when you are out of the office, but in and out, let everybody know you as someone that is upright, someone that is morally grounded in whatever that you do, even at professional level. Or don't say, oh, if I'm being upright, they will think I'm too strict. No. Ethical means choosing action that are fair, respectful of people's rights, that's their privacy and dignity, and avoid causing harm, even if they might be profitable or convenient. You see some individuals, they don't care about what we call privacy or dignity. They are very selfish, not selfless. All they care about is profit. You must not be that kind of what, tech professional. You must care about your user privacy. You must care about their dignity. Don't say, I don't care about whatever what that wants to happen. Don't be that kind of individual. So ethical means choosing action that are fair, respectful. The word fair is, it means like for both you and your what, and your clients, for both you and your stakeholder. So you're not doing yourself any harm, but you are doing both yourself and your clients, your stakeholder good. Ethical thinking matters in tech, because a small design or data mistake can harm users. It can harm users. Privacy links, discrimination, addictive patterns, Ethic protects, sorry, it can actually harm users if there is privacy links, if there is discrimination, if there is addictive patterns. It can harm your users, so you need to make sure that you are morally upright, you are an ethical person. Ethic protects users and organizations trust. It protects users and organization trust. So good problem solvers also think critically. Yeah, good problem solvers also think critically. You must think critically. Always ask, will this solution harm anyone? Is it fair? Does it respect privacy? Because every individual needs privacy. Every it is Privacy is like a fundamental human right. So you should know what, you should not expose anybody's privacy just because of what, just because you're trying to work or you're trying to build any kind of software. You need to prioritize your users privacy. So we are going to talk about the biasing your thinking. All human beings think with cognitive biases, shortcuts that can lead to poor decision. Examples: confirmation bias, only seeing evidence that supports your belief; group thinking, going along with the majority; availability bias, overestimating what's most recent or visible. But when it comes to the bias, seek opposing views. Use data over assumption. Assumption will not, it has not helped anybody. So make sure that you are using what, you are using facts. Invite or make sure you get feedback. Pause before deciding. The biasing protects your product, your logic, and your leadership. So it's very important that you make use of this. Don't just be biased. Make sure that you are also open to receive feedback. You are open to receive feedback and do that is right, so that you'll be able to what, help every individual, which is very very important, very important, and it's going to help everybody in your team. Moving forward, the biasing will help you what, make better decision. It will help you make better decision, because humans have biases or mental shortcuts that lead to poor decision, but critical thinking skills will help you stop and check yourself. Are we doing the right thing? To avoid what, to avoid conflicts. To fight bias, you need to seek evidence, not opinion, because it's not just about you and your team members. It's about the end users. You need to seek opinion. You need to, just like I mentioned earlier, be open to feedback. Listen to other individuals' point of view. Ask questions. Very important. Ask important questions. Moving on. Reflective thinking in reflective thinking retrospective in retrospective. So retrospective helps him reflect on what went well, what didn't, and would be improved what could be improved. So this will actually help team members think very well, because it's just like reflective thinking. What is that project that we did not do well? Like, how did that project go? Everybody is talking about it. What are the lapses? What are those things? What are the loopholes? What are those things you think we should what, look into, so that we are going to avoid those pitfalls next time? So reflective thinking means looking at events with honesty, not emotion, distinguishing facts from feeling, taking ownership without blame. Team that reflect regularly improve not just their outcome, but also their team culture. Do you get that? Make sure that you start cultivating the habit of what? Reflective thinking, so that you can what? Improve your outcome. and be better, which will be very helpful for you and your team members. I want to believe you had a nice time in this learning and development experience. I believe that you will be and make a good critical thinker and problem solver in your tech career. Kindly make sure to make use of all the important information that you've learned in class today, so that you can be a better career professional, so that you can be a career tech professional. So this is our assignment, our objective question for this course: critical thinking and problem solving. Kindly make sure you attend the assessment and forward your answers to Dive Africa email address. So we have five objective question. What is the goal of root cause analysis? Which of the following is not part of the scamper model? Scenario planning helps him to. The biasing your thinking help you to. In solution evaluation, usability means. So all those things is something that will actually help you. Kindly make sure you attempt this assessment and see yourself becoming the better version of yourself. Thank you for joining today course. Have a great time.